Hey guys, how's it going? I'm so excited to post my first speed drawing video for you. I do apologize in advance. I don't notice when I'm drawing how much I rotate the canvas on the tablet, but once it's sped up it can, at certain points it does get a little bit disorientating, so I've made a note for future drawing to rotate the tablet instead of the canvas on the screen so that the speed drawings are a little bit better. Also so that the picture takes up the full screen so you can actually see the entire drawing as I go, not just the sections I'm zoomed in on. So hopefully the future drawings will be a little bit better so you can see the entirety of the piece. So for this piece I was following an exercise out of Lee Hammond's Draw Animals in Nature book. This whole entire book features how to draw animals with graphite pencil, smudge pens, and texture and erasers. So I wanted to really mimic, you know, just traditional graphite drawing, just in the digital format. So in Sketchbook Pro on the mobile device, I use the primary pencil, the smudge pen tool, and the textured eraser. I applied a texture to all three of the tools, and then I changed some of the settings based on pressure. How much pressure I was putting on my pencil would change how much it was either blending, erasing, or adding more color to my canvas. So I started laying in some of the color mapping. I started with the water, drew in the rocks, and then started to work kind of all around the canvas. It was kind of all over the place. I didn't really have a rhyme or a reason for where I was working. I started to establish some of my darkest darks and my lightest lights in that first layer. And then I blended it all out. I zoomed out, kind of looked at it just to see how it felt. I wanted to make sure that all my proportions were right and everything was in the right spot, had the right lighting, that the shape was good, it was following all of the shapes and how you're supposed to shade your shapes. So it all looked pretty good, so I started defining a lot more details. I did a lot of work on the water before I touched the rocks. So I would lay out pencils in horizontal strokes, I would blend it out with the smudge pen, and then I would take my textured eraser to it, and I would change the opacity. So some areas had a sharper highlight, some had more of a dull highlight, and then I would blend them out. I didn't want my highlights to look too sharp, especially in that stage. I wanted them to look a little bit more natural, so I blended them out really well, and then I went through, laid more pencil down, blended it out again, and I just kind of kept repeating this pattern of laying down strokes, blending, erasing, until I was happy with the final results. The back or the top of the canvas I didn't really care too much about because I knew that there were going to be trees draping down from the top of the canvas, so I didn't worry too much about how that looked blended out because it was going to get covered. I just wanted some tone behind the tree because you're going to see some of that color through the leaves, of course. So, and that rock in about the middle of the canvas, it's really dark. I do erase it out and re-shade it later on in the drawing. It turned out way too dark. I don't know how it turned out that dark when my color was set to a gray, but it did. So I learned a lot from this piece. This was my first full digital drawing, just pencil piece. Overall, I'm fairly happy with it. A couple things I would change. I don't love the leaves. I think I would maybe do a different style if I were to redraw this again. And I don't particularly love the one rock in the foreground on the left side of the picture, but all in all I'm pretty happy with it. The one thing I am really happy with is the water in general, as well as where the rocks meet the water. I think that the transition turned out really well, and I don't think I would change too much in regards to that. I think the shadowing was really good, the reflections were really good, so I just think all of that was on point. So I definitely learned a lot in this piece. It was probably my favorite digital art piece I've ever done to date. I love the look of the pencil, I love the texture, I just love how traditional it looks. So I've made a goal to complete every exercise in this Draw Animals in Nature book from Lee Hammond. I really think that it will help better my drawing skills, and I really like how all of my pieces have been turning out so far. So yes, you can stay tuned to see more of that, as well as a full book review. Once I've gone through the entire book, I'll let you know what I think. Thanks guys, bye!